Hey you Stygian dogs. In my review of Chuck Dixon's Conan #1, Siege of the Black Citadel, I'd offered the following conclusion. This is Conan, written by somebody who knows Conan. Chuck Dixon is a prolific writer of comics, Batman, Nightwing, The Punisher, and perhaps most recently, Alpha Core #1, part of Eric July's tremendously successful fan-funded Rippaverse. And as pertains to Conan, well, the man has chops, something like 52 issues of the savage sort of Conan between 1985 and 1993. Given these credentials and having enjoyed the Siege of the Black Citadel, I was pretty excited to see what was on offer with this, his second Conan novella, Chuck Dixon's Conan #2, Caravan of the Damned. Procuring the book was a little different this time. The Arkhaven website, unlike last time, would not permit orders from outside of the United States. I'm not sure if this has to do with copyright claims, matters of publishing under the public domain, or simply the company not wanting to deal with shipping to countries outside of the United States. The publisher did recommend ordering via Amazon.com or Barnes & Noble, but these options became cost prohibitive, and I just couldn't warrant spending $40. Disappointed, I'd resigned myself to the fact that I'd just have to pass on the title. Some weeks after the release date, I'd noticed that it became available via Canadian bookseller Indigo. I added it to my cart. Days later, it arrived. All in all, a much better delivery experience than I had with the first book, and it came in under $20. And I've got to say, I'm really glad that I had a chance to pick it up and read it. So let's take a look at the book. We see Caravan of the Damned, Chuck Dixon's Conan #2 by Chuck Dixon. Above the title, illustrated by Adamir Leal, and on the cover, Conan on horseback, a maiden to his rear, being pursued by some rather angry riders. It's a decent softcover binding of the same quality as the previous book. After a few title pages, the publishing details. Chuck Dixon's Conan #2, Caravan of the Damned, Chuck Dixon, published by Castalia House, Switzerland. Cover and interior art by Adamir Leal, copyright 2023 by Chuck Dixon, all rights reserved. Created by Robert E. Howard, the character of Conan first appeared in Weird Tales in 1932 and entered the public domain in Europe in 2006. Chuck Dixon's Conan is an original creation by comics legend Chuck Dixon that relies solely upon the stories and characters of Robert E. Howard that are available for use in the public domain and should not be confused with any of the later presentations of Howard's characters that are still protected by copyright law in the United States of America. And then the table of contents, the chapters coming in at the lucky number 13. Overall, it's 127 pages in length, and you'll see the illustrations from Adamir Leal interspersed throughout the book. This is new for Caravan of the Damned. The Siege of the Black Citadel contained no interior illustrations. Leal's Conan is stylized, familiar, though it doesn't feel like he's copying anybody. They're a pleasing bonus, accompanied with snippets of text illustrating key moments from the story, some replete with the action and violence we'd expect. And of note, on the final page, we see a full listing of Chuck Dixon's Conan, the third in the series, titled The Pit of the Blind God. The story begins with Conan as leader of his thieving band of Zwagir, desert wolves, spying a caravan, making plans to attack it at the oasis to which it's headed. The raid upon the oasis is an absolute slaughter. Conan learns that the group was a Zamoran escort, tasked to join a Turanian caravan from Khorzim in delivering a treasure to the king of Zamora. You can guess that this piques Conan's curiosity. Now, still spent from the raid, Conan commands his bandits to intercept and attack the treasure-bearing caravan. And the only treasure to be found is in the guise of a young princess, Princess Ravona. She's the daughter of King Yadiz, the king of Turan. Learning that the princess's conquered caravan is being followed by another caravan bearing her dowry, Conan decides to send one of his party to negotiate a ransom. Now, unbeknownst to Conan, the dowry caravan is accompanied by the king's own guard, the Immortals. Motivated by the princess's capture, the Immortals give chase. When this becomes clear to Conan, he knows that his battle-weary bandits would be little match against the elite Turanian guard. So he leads his band of wolves further into the Zaguar with the hope of gaining some sort of advantage, or at a minimum, making an escape. Things deteriorate as the pursuit continues, and this is one of those Conan stories where forget about the treasure and worry about your own neck. In a final act of salvation, Conan leads his men to a place most foreboding, and I'll say no more. So, my summary thoughts. Chuck Dixon gives us immersive text. We can actually see the spear tips scintillating in the distance. The heat waves off the desert sands. We're in the middle of close-quarter battles, and we feel the environment, the oppressive heat suffered by the be-armored Turanians, and the unlikely-to-be-slaked thirst of the damned Caravan. It's great, and the pace is satisfying. It strives towards what I like to call Robert E. Howard's bombastic brevity. It just feels like Conan in an adventure gone wrong story, and it's pretty striking when you fully account for all the lives lost due to Conan's machinations. Adamir Leal's illustrations are a nice touch, a total bonus that helps to round out the finished product. And on the topic of Leal, contrary to his illustrations that portray Princess Ravonna with a womanly physique, in actuality, she's just a girl. Conan is bound to protect her, saying, "I lay only with women, not children, and only those who are willing. My brothers are not so discriminating. A boy, a goat, you, makes little difference to them." While this paints the danger she faces in Conan's camp, it also serves to inform and remind the reader of Conan the chivalrous. Conan possesses a morality that the character's detractors likely don't understand or choose to ignore, instead ascribing unfounded stereotypes to him. As such, I appreciate this reifying moment. Now, unlike the first book where, at times and in service to the length, things sometimes felt disjointed, the story taking place over 4 or 5 different setting chunks or events, the Caravan of the Damned has a seamless flow, and the story is a stream of events. Things feel organic, and there was nothing that took me out of the fantasy. And given how dire events in the book become, we're really left wondering how Conan is going to get out of his predicament. Well, Dixon gives us a pleasing conclusion. If you pay attention to the story, it is foreshadowed, but whether or not you catch it, it's of no matter. For me, it was a perfect grin-inducing moment of levity, a very satisfying ending. So, if you enjoyed Chuck Dixon's Conan #1, and I did, you will absolutely love Chuck Dixon's Conan #2, Caravan of the Damned. Again, this is Conan written by somebody who knows Conan. Thanks for watching, liking, and subscribing. And until next time, take it easy, you Stygian dogs.